All right, bam, we're live. Bam, we're live here. We're rolling tonight. All right. About to get started here. Let me share my screen. Welcome, folks. We're going to get started. I'm going to go for about 12 minutes. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and post them and we'll address them. Otherwise, we'll get started here. Just adjust this a bit. All right. And if you're new, please let me know what part of the country you're in, what county, whatever, and what specialty you do, roofs, kitchens, basements, whatever. All right, here we go. I'm sure we'll have more people join. I don't want to be on too late, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right. So we're going to talk about why your jobs fall apart. And believe it or not, it's probably not for the reason you might be thinking. So this falls into our project management and job execution. So why does it matter? Well, let's be blunt. If you don't run your job schedule, it's going to run you. All right. So a lot of you guys say, I can't do this, I can't do that because my schedule is doing this or schedule, right? And I was reactionary contractor when I first started. I would say to people, well, I can't do that because I just don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know when they're going to be done that. And I was my own big enemy. I was getting in the way of my jobs being done quickly, efficiently, profitably, right? So you have to learn that you are probably doing that to yourself as well, just like I did it to myself. And here's how you get away from that, right? The other thing is, look, nothing derails profit faster than a blown schedule. Labor's your most expensive thing typically in any project. So if you can't get labor under control, yeah, your costs are going to be crap and your profitability is going to be nothing. So it's not because of one mistake, but it's because of what we call the domino effect. And here's what happens. You don't realize it now, but the guys that you hire, when they see that you don't have your A game together and you slack and you let them slide with little things every single day, that becomes the way of life. And so now instead of being the A plus team that does the little bit extra and is always getting things done, you guys become the team that's almost there. You're not quite there, but you're close, right? And then because of that, your profit's almost there, but it's never quite there as well. And it's all linked to your profitability. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to tell you right now, when your labor costs can be costing you like $2,000 a day, that 2-week delay, it crushes your profit. So you got to get sharp, get smart, and start running this thing like a well-oiled machine. And you can do it. We took our kitchen remodels. I'll give you an example. They were taking a little bit over 2 months, probably 2.5 months, 3 months. And we were able to trim them down to almost 6 weeks like clockwork. Okay. And that was just because we started becoming more efficient. And that's setting daily goals, using the legal pad that I told you about. You have a list that you cross off. You cross it off. Any guy on your team can cross it off. And they put their initial next to it. And when people take ownership like that, man, they start doing things like that. Here's the other thing that happens. A lot of you guys think it's not that big deal if you fail an inspection or if you miss an inspection, right? Or if you fail behind like a day on the schedule, like, no big deal. Who cares, right? Or what if the sub doesn't show up today? All of that's a big deal. Every hour is a big deal. when you're running a tight ship on remodeling, because profit margins are thin. And that's where most of your money is going. You see, a lot of guys, you get into the business because you wanted to like take it easy and do your own thing, and you don't want to really pay attention to all, have someone breathing down your neck, right? Well, here's what's breathing down your neck. It's your profit. And if you ignore it, that's why you have none. All right. Yeah, so welcome to you guys that have joined recently. If you have anything, feel free to pop them, any questions, comments, pop it in there. So you got to come up with in my opinion, what we did, the best thing we did was we came up with what's called a bulletproof schedule. And what that does is it gives you predictability. It gives the client confidence. Once the client is confident, they back off. You got to understand that. If you have a client breathing down your neck, it's because they don't trust you. They don't think you know what you're doing. And for some of you, that might be the case, okay? You got to learn how to get leverage with the subs. And so you got to be on point so that you keep them on point. And you need breathing room for delays. There's always going to be like slippage is the word, right? So you have to factor that in, but you can't be the one causing it. You have to be the one remedying it. So great remodelers just don't plan the job. They build the time structure that protects their profitability. So what's a bulletproof job schedule? Well, it's a living blueprint of the project timeline, okay? You have start dates, end dates. Your milestones. When am I getting paid? At what point are we getting paid? The homeowner knows up front. I know up front. It's put in a schedule. That schedule is posted on the job site, the homeowner's house. What are the timelines for my crews and subs? Everyone should know that. And what are my inspection windows? When are we going to be scheduling those? What are the critical dependencies? When's rough-ins? How do we make sure we're ready for drywall, sheetrock? And you need some buffer zones. All that should be in your schedule. And we recommend you use a Gantt chart. It's not a basic checklist. It's a professional sequencing tool, right? You have to show how everything's connected to everything else. This helps make your subs accountable. When a sub says they don't know, say that's not an answer that we can work with. Now you have to give them proper heads up. You can't call your sub at the last minute and then expect them to jump. You have to demonstrate that you run a real schedule. And it's challenging in the beginning. It absolutely is. That's why you're a professional now and you focus on having a good schedule. And most of your subs probably don't, but they will when it comes to your jobs. All right. And this keeps you ahead of the curve. This is your map, how you get the job. I'm telling you, project management is one of the most powerful tools that you'll have in your business. Outside of learning how to sell the job, you need to manage the job properly. So I can come into a lot of remodeling companies and instantly boost their profit just because I can show them how to effectively project manage it that much better, right? What if I just shaved 3 days off of any job that's 1 month, right? What if I could shave 2 weeks off of any job that's almost 2 months? Think about that, okay? And it's because we don't waste time. So many of you guys you don't even recognize you're wasting 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. You don't get any of that back, okay? And when you have 3 guys on a job site and you're all standing around shooting the shit, doing this, doing that, and one guy's got a question, he's got to ask 3 other people how to solve it. Now the whole team's down for a half hour. You don't get that time back. Lost. That's what it is. So here's a quick glimpse. We do full breakdowns of schedules in our Rebel program, right? And that's what so tonight we just do like an overview to help get you started, right? Because it takes more time and you have to be more invested to get something out of it. Like that's next level stuff that we get into. And the reality is this, look, I get it. Most of the guys that show up here and there, their business is going to fail anyway, right? We're looking for that top 10% of guys that are determined to make the business survive. Because most guys, they don't. They say it would be nice, like I'd like to have, and they leave it all to chance. There's very few people that buckle up and get in the trenches and make the business happen. But that's who we're looking to work with. That's who we want in the program. And that's why we save some of that stuff for there. All right. So look, most of the guys, they're winging it. I can tell you this right now. You can go on any of your competitors' job sites. They're winging it. And they've been winging it for 10 years. Okay. There's a select few that are professionals and they run a real proper schedule. That's why they have like 20 jobs like on their calendar at any given time because they have a professional way of dealing with it. They sequence trades. They plan for the inspection. They build in their buffer zones. They reverse engineer from completion how long everything takes. So these are the checklists that you and your team should be sitting down doing. So like every time we get a project in, it goes right, sales goes right over to production. The project manager starts timeline. He's talking to all his subs and he's going to explain to them, this is the scope of the job I'm looking at. How long is that going to take you this time of the year? Okay, you told me 3 days. I'm going to give you 4. Let's schedule it in, right? So if you don't build your schedule, your job will build one for you. I'm going to tell you that right now. Some of you are wondering why you're like basements, for instance. Basements would take us 3 months. It's crazy. No basement should take you that long, okay? 6 weeks, you should be in and out in a basement. And you have to dictate that and let the guys know, hey, we're going to be done the demo by 11 today, right? Walls are going to be framed by 2:30, all right? We already have the plans. We know what we're doing. I want you doing the sill plates. You should be cutting all this, pre-cutting the studs for us, right? You got to attack it like an assembly line. Say, hey, we're getting these walls up today. So, put your phones down. One guy can put on the music and that's it. We're rolling. So, all right. So what if you skip all this? Well, does it matter? Yeah, it matters. For us, it's the profitability of like probably $10,000 a job when we stay to our schedule as opposed to if we start losing schedule. Because it only takes like 5 days at $2,000 a day and boom, there's 10 grand and you don't get it back, right? So, and then the clients, when they see the job stalling, they know, and then they start getting a little angsty and they get frustrated and then they want to step in and start micromanaging and that takes up more time, right? So then you start reacting instead of leading, right? And one delay then all of a sudden has caused 10. And this is when the rails fall off the cart. Next thing you know, you're screwed. So bottom line is you need to control the calendar and you do that by controlling the job. So if you want the AI prompt, we can get you started in that. All right. And I don't see anybody in here tonight asking any questions. If you have any specific questions, fire away. I'll give you guys a second. Nobody news popping in here. All right, tonight might be a short one. That's all right. Hey there, Todd. If you're in here, you let me know where you're from. That'd be awesome. Got a lot of bouncers today. People just like little flies. They bounce in, they bounce out. One new message, huh? Where is that message? Well, if you're new, welcome. Ed, if this is your first time here, welcome. Anybody new? Last thing we'll do is we'll do the AI prompt. So here's the prompt. All right. So you're going to act as a remodeling project manager. You're going to ask AI to help you build that bulletproof job schedule for put the type of project, let's say a kitchen. And let's say we're going to start it on October 1st, right? And we're going to have a project duration. We want to do it in 6 weeks. So now you put in the trade sequence. Here's what we're doing. We have demo, all right? Then we're going to do our framing, and then we have our mechanical rough-ins. Then we have insulation, and we have a framing inspection, and we have our rough-in mechanical inspections. Then we move over to sheetrock, right? And we do a rough coat. We do our primer coat. We start putting in trim, flooring, cabinetry, backsplash countertop. Then we come back and do all the finish fixtures, right? Boom, that's our schedule. So we want some time estimates for each. We want a recommended buffer schedule based off of historical data if we have it. We want to put in where the inspections will occur. We do any materials. The reason we can do a schedule kitchen in 6 weeks is because we pre-order all the materials. They come into our warehouse first, then we go out on site. So if you're not doing that, I don't think you'll be able to get a kitchen done in 6 weeks. Maybe you'll get lucky. Or you have a super flexible client that lets you just work around that. But like you already need to have the cabinets ordered. I mean, it can take weeks just to get cabinetry. So all the fixtures, the knobs, the pulls, the tile for the backsplash, whatever you're doing. The flooring. Get your subcontractors on board and all the client touch points. So we like to do Friday walkthroughs on jobs. So usually we for some homeowners, we do it first thing on a Friday morning before they go to work. For other homeowners, it's when they come home. Maybe on Friday, they come home like at 1:30. Okay. Our guys are not staying late. We let the homeowner know that, hey, we want to do a walkthrough on a Friday. What time is going to work best for you? You want to come over at lunchtime? Perfect. Yeah, it's tough. Homeowners have to make sacrifices when they're getting their house remodeled. That's what happens when you hire a professional. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for tonight. We have got a lot of guys are probably busy. If I can help you with anything, feel free to pop that in here. These schedules, we've had the most luck by using Gantt charts. So that's what I recommend you do. Some people are scared of the Gantt chart. And I can share with you this, like when I do a Gantt chart, I'm not 100% certain, but I use my experience. I go with what has worked in the past. Like on average, can we get all this done in 3 days? Then boom, 3 days it is. Have I been able to do all this in the past in 2 days? Then boom, it's 2 days. And then I go in and put in some filler. I have one subcontractor, plumbing guy, that I always know he's going to be late till he shows up. But once he shows up, he'll get it done. But he's almost always going to tell me he's not going to be ready when I ask him, right? It's always going to be like a couple days later. So you have to play that balance where you try to get him out there almost before you're ready, because you're pretty certain he ain't going to be. If I ask him to come out on Tuesday, he'll say, I'll see what I can do. Most likely he's coming on Thursday. And what I tend to do is I'll ask him to come out Tuesday, even though I'm not going to be ready till Thursday, because I already know he's going to be late. So like that, if you have a sub like that, that's the game you can play with them. Now, other guys, I can trust that they'll be there the day I say to be there, and we base that off of our experience working together. We have a long history. Anything else? Again, if you have a question about your remodeling business, today we talked about the schedule and how important a Gantt chart is. So if you're a remodeler, you're in the right place. If you're not, you probably want to bounce. Bobby, welcome. If you're in the remodeling field, let us know what you do. If not, no worries. All right. We're probably going to wrap up here, guys. It looks tonight like it's a little slower, so which is cool. I'll let the clock roll till 20 after. Or I mean, Yeah, roughly like 10, 20. Yeah, it's crazy how much a schedule can do for you. And yet most guys, that's the last thing they ever want to do is have a schedule. I get it. It's that live by the sword, die by the sword type of thing. You need the schedule, but you don't want it. And yet the schedule is the thing that will make or break you. I struggle with it now, you know? It's just the reality. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care. All right, those of you on YouTube, unless you have a specific question you want to put in the comment, yeah, then we're going to bounce.